Hi there, folks, and welcome to episode 3 of Ukes with Alex, the podcast where we talk to people in the ukulele industry. And today we have someone very special, someone I love talking to, which is Juliana from Flight. Hi, Juliana.
Hello. Hi, Alex. Hi, everyone.
Thanks for joining me. It looks like you've got the nicest day ever there right now.
Yeah, it's been like this, like all the day of the summer, and we kind of traveled due to pandemic, so I'm enjoying it in the garden.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at rain next to me, so it's yeah, you're in the right place. I'm definitely in the wrong place this morning. So we're talking about the weather, which is always a great way to start small talk, but perhaps we should move on to why we're here today. So Juliana, just for anybody that doesn't know you, can you just tell them a bit about yourself, please?
Okay, cool. I'm 33 years old. I have been working in this industry since I was 22. I've graduated from London Met in London, of course, and I've studied music business. So I've studied like managing bands, working in the music industry, where like all the record labels are. And then I ended up working with musical industry, which is a little bit connected. So I'm glad that at least my major helped me in something.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting experience living in London and being in the melting pot with all the industries, but with all the different cultures, but I really enjoy living in Slovenia and working here. A lot of people think that it's a small country. A lot of people don't know what it is, but I feel like it's really good for feeling creative, for traveling also because it's right in the center of Europe. So it's well connected to Italy, to Germany, to Austria. And yeah, I just feel great doing what I'm doing and being where I am at.
Yeah, so it was always music business. That was always going to be the career then in some form or shape. Have you
Yeah, actually my parents, they were in the music instruments from, I don't know, from since I was like really, really young. So I was helping them and I was always connected to this music instruments.
It's funny, isn't it?
In industry.
Influences that bring you to something. I mean, my
Yeah.
dad played guitar, and I had no interest. But then one day, I watched him play guitar, and all of a sudden, it was all I ever wanted to do. But before that, something just clicks in your head, and you do subconsciously pick up on what your family are doing.
Yeah. I guess it was something like this. And when I was young, I used to learn how to play piano, and they were also selling some keyboards. So I would like on the weekends, I would go help them out. I would actually demonstrate. For me, it was like a playground because I had like so many different keyboards, like all the best new Yamahas, and I could like play with them like all day long. And I was demonstrating to people, and people would come and say, "What is this one?" And I would go, "It can do this and that." And that was actually like one of the best sellers there because I actually knew how to use all these different functions. There were like those keyboards that had the little lightning, like when you had to, and they were showing you like which chords and like what to play. And that was my favorite toy.
We used to sell them too, and it's a real skill to, even though a lot of them are aimed at beginners, it's a real skill to show what they do, except just play, chopsticks and hope that somebody gets into it. But that's great.
Yeah. But that was like many years ago. I'm sure like the newer ones are like super technological. I wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I'm actually sat in the Southern Ukulele Store's old keyboard section, which is now where I do my interviews. So thankfully, neither of us have to worry about that anymore. Keep it up. But so ukuleles was kind of a sideways step then. So you moved away from London, or did you start Flight when you were in the UK? Kind of how did it come to be?
Well, actually, it's funny. When I was in the UK, I was really into raving scene, and I released a vinyl record. So I knew lots of DJs. So
right.
I asked some of them if they could sell me their music, and then I released vinyl records. So I think like my first legitimate business in London was vinyl, was the record label. But then I moved out of that scene and started working with my parents and with the musical instruments. So yeah, the label kind of has just one release, but that was like my first experience in doing something by myself. So I connected with, I knew a very good artist who could do amazing artworks. He was from Bristol. So I connected with him, and he did this amazing like vinyl sleeve with all the map of the UK and different rave points of the UK. Like you had the London scene, I had Bristol, Wales and Scotland, and all of them, they were like together on that map, and he drew all the different characters, and then we worked on the circle that goes in the A side, B side, and the logo and everything. And I think this experience is actually kind of connected to what I'm doing now with Flight.
The product
because
design, definitely.
A lot of this is like similar. So I have to look at the packaging, I have to look at the logos, I have to look at colors, and I'm in touch with different artists all the time. I just received, actually just before you called me, I just received the new straps, and all of them are like so cool, and I'm like so excited about it.
Very cool.
And look at this one.
I like it.
So all this process of creating something new, and just basically, I'm not an artist myself. Like I can't draw anything, but I have to have kind of an idea what I want. In order to be able to work with other artists, because otherwise they can just draw whatever they like, and we have to have a vision like for a brand. And so we have to give them like our idea, and this is the most difficult part sometimes.
No, I have a theory as well. Sorry, that's somebody's heard that you're on the Zoom call, so they're probably ringing to ask when the Flight Phantoms are going to be back in stock or something. But I think that there's the product design and the branding is so important, because so many people can have good quality control on an instrument, but if it doesn't get people excited, no one's going to buy it. And if you can mesh those things together really, really well and create something that people are excited to show off and play, which is what I think you've done better than anybody else I've met in the last 5 years. I think you're fantastic at that.
This is my mom's school. Like she is really going into like little details. For example, our Royal series. They have like those purple gig bags, and me and my husband, we found this purple fabric. We had some fabric samples shipped over here because we're going to go to China, and we chose them. We're so proud. And then my mom looks at this gig bag and she's like, "Why is the stitching so white? Why don't you make it silver?" And she's really going into these little details, and there is like no end to perfectionism and her perfectionism. So I'm also always, I think I kind of inherited that. So when I'm looking at something, I'm always thinking, how can I make it better? And even like other people look at it and they tell me this is already good as it is, but I'm like, yeah, but if we just move this thing just a little bit, like a couple of centimeters up, maybe it will be even better.
No, I agree. But that's the thing. I mean, as a retailer and also just as a consumer, because I'm first and foremost, I want to get excited about products, and I do always think, with what you're selling and what you produce at the same price as other people, I can see that there's a conscious effort to give people the best experience you can. And it's not to say anything negative about other brands. It's just something that I think you do very, very well. So it makes sense that you come from a background where you have that kind of creativity with the vinyl and having a tangible product to show for it. And you're doing the same thing now, 11 years later, 12 years later with ukuleles. So
yeah, now it's like more advanced. I mean, there's like, I could take my time with the vinyl, so I could spend, 6 months doing just the vinyl sleeve, but now it's like everything is much faster, and I have to move faster, and I have to decide faster, and I have to work with different artists. I think I have like 4 and 5 in different countries. So yeah, it's like a lot of work, but that first experience, I think, was definitely like something that helped me shape and understand how you can create something by just contacting a bunch of people who are good at something and putting it all together.
Yeah, you're not afraid to reach for that as well. I mean, I've not known you very long, only about 9 months, but but you, I mean, you speak quite a few different languages, and is that in a way just so you can reach the right people and speak to them yourself?
Yes and no. I think my interest for languages comes from coming to Slovenia after London and realizing that everyone here speaks so many different languages, like 3 or 4, and people in London mostly speak 1 or 2. And then I felt like I didn't want to be worse than everybody else.
It was a competitive spirit that got
Yes,
did it.
I guess that was at the beginning. And then, so I learned Italian, and then I really got into K-pop, and I just fell in love with Korean language and the way it sounded. And then we traveled a couple of times. Firstly, we traveled to Korea for 10 days, then to visit Crafter Guitar Factory. Then who are very good friends of ours. Then we went to visit China and Japan, and we really fell in love with the whole like culture and the East and their mentality and everything, and the development. It's just amazing when you go there. And then I decided, okay, I want to study one of these 3 languages. And I was really scared of the Chinese characters and Japanese characters. So
Yeah.
Korean was the only one that was using alphabet. So they have like 26 letters, and then they combine them in different like shapes, blocks. So I wouldn't have to learn like thousands and hundreds of different characters. So I said, okay, let's go for Korean. So I started learning Korean, and that was also very competitive for me because first of all, I had booked myself a ticket to go to Korea. I think it was August when I started, and the ticket was like in April. So I had like 8 months.
Oh, you're crazy.
Yeah. And then I was like, every day I went like on a marathon, and every day I was checking, am I speaking? Am I fluent? No, not yet. Okay, study more. And it was just, I think, like 1 hour a day at least. But then when I went to Korea, I went to visit my friend who I met through the language exchange app, and she had to go to uni. So she left me with her mom, and mom didn't speak a word of English. And
Right.
I ended up speaking like 5 hours of Korean with her, like without any English, or sometimes with like Google Translate help. But it was like real experience, and it really like helped me feel good about myself. So it's something that helps me feel motivated and gives me like really, really great sense of achievement.
Dad, so you visited all of these places, and I know you continue to kind of travel when you can. With the flight brand and kind of what you're doing now, I don't think we really actually covered. How did you get to the ukulele? What drew you to the ukulele?
It is a long question again, but I think if we try to cut it short, so we were selling music and distributing instruments for what?
Don't feel like you have to cut it short. I mean, this is an interview, so it's all good.
Okay, you know, I like to talk a lot, so I can talk like 10 minutes about this.
I know. When I talk to you, quite often I'm on the phone to you for 40 minutes. I think, oh, okay, but it's okay.
Sorry. And okay, flight, ukuleles. So we were working with musical instruments for a while. I mean, my parents, my family, and I was helping them. And we were just looking for instruments to source for our stores, because we have a chain of stores, musical instrument stores in Eastern Europe. And I remember like one music messe, we were just going around all the different booths and looking to buy ukuleles, and nobody had any because it was such huge ukulele boom going at the moment. So like all the shipments were like delayed by 3, 4, 5 months.
Right.
Like all the brands like were not available, and we were like, oh my God, we're gonna be without Ukes like if we don't do something. So we started designing something for ourselves, and we were looking at our favorite models from like other brands at that point. So we knew what we didn't want, and we knew kind of what we wanted. And we tried to use like our connection that we had through other like different other suppliers. And then we designed, I think it was like 10 bottles or even less, and we brought the first shipment and started selling it in like our shops. And then our friends from the music industry who also had like shops and distributions, they were like, hey, do you have any ukes to spare, because we are out and we would like to sell some. So we're like, okay, here you go, you can have some of ours. And then we thought, okay, why don't we go to Music Mess and like display them on our stand? So, and also I think that year my mom had an idea to try the Elvis Presley license. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Well, I don't know, I haven't, but I have noticed that with the Elvis Presley thing, you seem to have brand exclusivity, and people tend to pour a lot of different products into it in one time. I suppose it's a bit like something like Jack Daniels, is that right? Where you have
Yeah.
that, like you can
Yeah.
work with it, right?
Basically, yeah, the vision behind it was like, okay, we are doing ukuleles now, but we are doing ukuleles that look the same to everyone else. How can we be different? And then we had this idea to try to license the famous people who play the ukulele, like Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe. I think Marilyn didn't work out, but Elvis did. So the next semester we went to the booth, and we had like Elvis. How are they called? Like the guy who dresses like Elvis.
An impersonator.
Yeah, impersonator.
Right.
So actually it was really funny because like near Frankfurt there is an actual impersonator. There are like not many of them in Germany, but that was like a local one.
Yeah.
So he came and he played and he was there taking photos. So it was like really cool.
Was he good?
And yeah, he was actually good. I think we had like some other ones in different countries later, and I think the German one was the best.
Okay.
And we had those Ukes with like Elvis prints on them, and it really helped us get into like minds of some big companies, because they were seeing something. Oh wow, this is like not a little thing to do a license like this. And I think our stand was also not. I think it was cool. It was not as small as all the current stands, so I think it was kind of like our NAMM stand or even bigger.
Okay.
And then I think at that show, Yamaha Singapore approached us, and we started selling our ukes to Singapore. But I'm not exactly super proud of those Elvis Presley ukes, because I feel like now we could have made like much better uke, much better quality, like much better packaging, everything.
But it's a stepping stone.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many stepping stones along the way. And you learn so much from an inferior product, that you learn what to spot and what not to have the next time. So
I think the technology was not even there, like all the top printing. So the only technology to do like a printed top was a decal, and then those decals were mostly on like cheaper ukuleles. And so we ended up going for this, but now you can like print like really fancy tops on the good quality mahogany ukes.
Yeah.
And basically now we have our travel uke, so we could have done it with the travel uke, but at that point we didn't know anything and I think the technology, even like the whole development in China was different, was like much more limited than it is now. Now you can do whatever you want. You can print your face.
How long ago was this? Sorry to interrupt. Was it
2014?
Okay, so yeah, the ukulele world has changed so much since then. I mean, the quality of the cheaper product. It's the same with the guitar world. You know, it's really the age of the cheap instrument in terms of how much you get for your money at £100, £200. So
yeah. I think
you must be proud of your past, even if you know you can do better now.
I am proud, but yeah, we were like, okay, we're gonna stop with this because we are not selling colored ukes, you know. So it was only like one-off edition, and then we moved to the wooden ukes, and then we had the travel ukes, and then travel ukes really helped put us on the scene on the worldwide map of ukuleles, because before that I feel we didn't have anything that attractive or that different to anyone else. But then when the travel uke came out and all the, I don't know what to say, fame, but all the hype started happening and people were talking, we were like amazed. We're like, oh my god, look, there is a thread on Ukulele Underground talking about us. Look, there is a post in the Ukulele Underground Facebook, and there is another one. Like people outside of Europe already, like even like, I don't know, it's some different countries, faraway countries like Australia, like they know about us, and they were like, what is happening? It was like this moment of realizing that we are doing not something so local anymore, but which is actually having a world impact, even though it's still a small scene, so it's not as big as the electric guitars, but for us it was a huge thing.
Definitely. It's definitely not as big a scene, but by being smaller, the feedback and the spread you get when people give you feedback, it goes further, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of our YouTube videos get 4,000 views, whereas if Andertons made a video on ukuleles, it would get 60,000 views. But the people watching it aren't people that actually want to buy a ukulele. It's people who want to buy an electric guitar, and they kind of want to make fun of the ukulele. So the ukulele,
I felt it. I noticed like some guitar stores doing ukulele videos, and they get lots of views. But then the people in the comment sections are like, "Why do you play this? Just buy a guitar."
I had a funny I won't make this about me on your podcast here, but I actually had a funny interaction with someone at Andertons they made a video about ukuleles, and then the day after they launched it, I was in Guildford and I went into Andertons, and one of the guys there was involved in making the video, and he said, "We watched some of your videos before we made it." And I was like, "Well, that's nice, but it's really quite depressing, really, because you know they're telling people that these kind of £15-20 ukuleles are what they should expect, and you know that opinion is kind of 9-10 years out of date." So
I know I don't want to diss anyone or speak bad about anyone, but when I looked at their ukulele selection, their website, I thought like if they're trying to show themselves as like professional store with like professional gear and professional everything, then they should improve their uke selection. But this is like a plague for lots of guitar stores who are like specialized especially in electric guitars. They just don't take the uke seriously. I've been to some amazing stores like in Poland and everywhere around the world, and you have like those super expensive Fenders, Gibsons, Piraeus, I don't know, like acoustic guitars like Furch, Taylor, Martin, and then you have this cheapest ukes like somewhere in a faraway corner that gathering dust.
Yeah, and if they have something, you know, if they have something fairly decent, it's normally a laminate it's normally kind of under £200, an unpopular model that a distributor has told them was the right one to have. But anyway, you know, that's a whole other conversation. So just moving on slightly. I'm putting you on the spot a bit here, but what's your favorite flights model? What ukulele really stands out to you as your favorite?
I have so many, like really a lot. I would say like if I was going like on a photo shoot, like on the amazing location, and if I don't know, if I had to like pick one, I think it's the Fireball, which is coming out soon.
Is that the mango?
Solid mango. I think like I really like how it looks, and we really tried something different. Like the rosette is not just the rosette, but it comes until the end of the sound hole.
Wow, lovely.
So and then it has this black scalloped cutaway, and I think it's like the nicest ukulele that we've ever made, like so far.
That's good.
So I'm really, and then we have the anniversary model, which I hinted a couple of times, but it's still like in the works, so I can't talk much about it because it's still top secret. But I think when that one comes out, it will probably be our new favorite. But for now, it's the Fireball. I would show it to you, but we just sent it away, so it's not here anymore.
No problem at all. I think I held this may be wrong. At the NAMM show, I picked up a ukulele of yours, and I think it may have been, it looked like that. It had that kind of rosette.
It was that one, but without the cutaway. So we added the cutaway after an NAMM show.
Right. But that was the ukulele that made me decide to do flight.
Yeah, really.
And then it's not even been released, you know, 8 months, 9 months later. You know, everyone's really enjoyed the sound waves. The Phantoms have been great. The Spirits have been great. I really like the high-end models you offer. It's because of that attention to detail. I like that you're not just putting Aquila strings or a clear fluorocarbon on. I like that you have a slotted headstock that's not a slotted headstock. There's so many things about the ukes that you guys are doing right. And
we still keep tweaking them. So right now we're thinking about changing.
You tweak them a bit slower. That's my only criticism, is because you know, we get a delivery of 4 Spirits with passive pickups, and then the next one wants to buy them because they're waiting for the one with the active pickups. So
Really?
yeah, which has been really frustrating. And that,
But
that's,
I thought like a lot of people wanted the passive pickup. I
I
think like the
prefer the
passive,
passive pickup.
I
But
think the passive pickup will be like really sought after, like after a few months, when
that's
people realize that they're hard to get now, and then you'll be able to up the price
it doesn't really work like that. But
and sell them on eBay.
I like your instant marketing take on it. I appreciate that. Well,
Yep, yeah.
just closing the conversation today. I mean, where do you see, you're 10 years in with Flight now, and
Hmm.
do you have a long-term vision on where you see Flight going? And the last year probably has been your biggest growth year. Would you say?
I would
Or
say that every year is like pretty like explosive growth, but yeah, I would say like last year was the biggest in terms of like growth in different countries, like for
right?
example the UK. And we finally started working with specialist ukulele stores, because before we had to work for our reputation and like just consistently put out a good product and earn respect of everyone. And then I think we've been growing before, but mostly by opening new countries. And at this point, I would say that we are not even looking for new countries at this point, because we're just having it's challenging to produce ukes already for like existing customers,
Yeah.
because we work with so many different suppliers, and because of the pandemic, like everyone is overloaded with orders. I don't know why, but the I don't know, another huge ukulele boom happened. So like at this very moment, I just want to be stable and just try to make sure that everything runs smoothly, so like customers and people don't have to wait. For example, when we launched the Soundwave at the NAMM show, because of the Chinese New Year and the pandemic, the shipments with the Soundwaves arrived to USA like 8 months later in
Yeah.
August, and that was like a big failure for me personally, because I would have
Can
liked to
understand.
have them available there at the same time, as the launch, not like 8 months later, because I was getting emails. We were getting emails, like our customer service, like where are the Soundwaves? Why did you launch them and we cannot buy them? And so like this is like one of the challenges that we are facing. And yeah, this is like my vision. Like for now, I don't have like huge ambitions, like saying I want to be the top 3 brand in the world. I don't want to be like cocky or arrogant. I just want to have like stable business that is running and everyone is happy, and we're like exciting people. And but I think like this year we have like some really cool things coming, like the electric ukes, like the little Stratocaster and Les Paul.
Yeah, it's good to see somebody producing an alternative to the Ritas, because the Ritas are popular, but there is definitely room for that. Just going back to the NAMM thing though, that I think that is the biggest letdown of the NAMM show. So you mustn't feel guilty about that, because every single brand is guilty of launching something. They launch it at the end of January, they tell the world about it, and then the first time you see it is August, September.
Yep.
And that's been going on for 20 plus years. In fact, going way back, I'm reading about kind of 1950s Gibsons. They launched the Explorer, the Carina, modern guitars, and by the time they hit dealers, it was September. And so you end up
That's
with
really strange, but they're not made in China.
No, even US production, but even US production is delayed.
Because I get it about the January, because the February is the Chinese New Year holiday,
Yeah.
and then nobody's working for 1 month, and then they come back to work at the beginning of March, and then they're like slowly working, because so many workers don't come back to work, so they have to look for new ones. So like factories, like we've been to China at the beginning of March, they're like pretty much empty and like just few people there. So the work is much slower than usual.
Yeah.
And then the first shipment is ready, I think, like by April, or sometimes if you have like fancy ukes, like good ukes take like 2-3 months to make. And then we are shipping like, June, something like this. And if we have, like this year, we really tightened our QC, and the whole process became even slower, because now we get every uke check like multiple times, and it's very, very slow process. But we want to have the best quality possible. So we have like little checklist, and then our guy goes there and checks them, and this slows down the whole thing even more. So yeah, it's mostly due to that. But we were lucky that we got some shipped to Europe, the sound waves, I think around like January time. So we had them for a while. We had them almost at the same time as the release.
We sent so many the first few months to the US, probably half of the first delivery. But then I've seen Uke Republic, just because this podcast happens on my channel. So I feel like I can be more kind of supportive of other ukulele stores, because many of my friends run ukulele stores. And Uke Republic, I've seen, are now kind of a big flight dealer in the US. And who else do you have any other kind of landmark dealers that are worth just mentioning now, just for people that are looking for flight stock? Because Southern Ukulele Store do send some to the US, but I'm forever kind of diverting people to Uke Republic at the moment for a more local dealer.
Uke Republic are great. They are really catching on to all the new trends. So when they see the sound wave, they are like, okay, I'm getting sound wave. And also Mim's Ukes started.
Mim is doing it fantastic. I love Mim.
Yeah, Mim just started like literally 1 month ago, so she has like a lot of stuff to go through, because we have a lot of models, and she has all these long process of like taking photos and setting each ukulele up. But I think like in a few months it should be like all running smoothly. And we are really like this collaboration with these big ukulele stores again, like really pushed us to like our limits, to how to improve our service, how to improve our instruments, how to improve like our storage, like everything. So it's like really helping us become better.
Yeah, well, you are growing, and you listen as well. I mean, I'm being very complimentary here, because it's well deserved. If we have an issue, if I tell you about it, I know that there is a team that you guys are working very, very hard to kind of improve upon products. And Mim is a fantastic person to have on your side in the US, because she is somebody that like us, she'll give you very honest feedback, and as a result, that product, any product that goes through her hands will improve, which is what we strive for as well. If we're going to stock something and we really believe in it, we will feed back in real time. So it's just one of those things that reinforces that it's worth supporting a shop, a retailer that really cares about what they do, a specialist.
Yep. I think you've noticed, or I think I've sent you, like on our website now we have a section of how to buy flight, and I put all the dealers that we mentioned now, like Southern Ukulele Store, Mims, Ukes, Uke Republic, are all there, because I would rather people contact them and have a good experience than go to Amazon. For example, Amazon is easy for like everyone, but you will not be necessarily getting perfect customer service or like perfectly set up uke.
It's wasteful as well, because if you get a bad one and you send it back, a lot of the time with Amazon, it just down the line, it just gets landfilled. It just gets incinerated. It doesn't. It's so wasteful. Even the carbon emissions. If Amazon are not setting up these instruments, and it's absolutely fine to buy a CD or my mic stand, my camera, my tripod came from Amazon, but I wouldn't necessarily buy a camera from Amazon. I'd buy my camera from somebody that could give me advice on how to get the best image. And it's the same with musical instruments.
I just feel like all ukuleles are different. So sometimes we get like comments from people who bought a uke on Amazon. They're like, it's not the same as in the photos. And it's wood, all of them are different. So that's why it's best to go to the store or contact the store directly and maybe ask them to send you photos, how the ukulele looks like, or give you some kind of feedback, how it looks like.
Definitely. Well, look, I'm going to say goodbye, because it's time to open the shop. And
okay.
You can
Do you want to see some more of the straps?
Yeah, show us off.
Wait, I actually ordered these in various colors because I didn't know which color was the best. So I think I have, 3 colors.
Oh, very cool.
Which one do you think is better?
I like anything that's got a kind of 1970s vibe to it. I think I'd go for the blue one in the middle.
Okay, everyone loves the blue one.
Yeah, there's something about that.
I showed you the graffiti one. There is one more. There is also this one.
Oh, the gold. Yeah, that looks like if you I don't know if it's the same in other countries, but in the UK, if you stripped back the wallpaper in a house, eventually you would find that last design.
Really?
Yeah, that would be the last layer of wallpaper on the wall, you know.
I'm not
Oh,
sure
very
about
cool.
this one, like if you can really see the design, but like now when I see it in person, I think it looks cool. Like when I was seeing it photos, I was not sure. And about feedback, like one lady from London emailed us saying that she was really struggling with putting our strap on the pin, and she was like, I broke my nails. Please improve them. So now they come with softer ends.
That's the kind of feedback we were talking about. Thank you so much, Juliana. Have a great day.
Yep.
And thank
Thank
you very much
you.
for being on the podcast.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.